Democrats have blocked a bill that would have protected girls' sports from men. We are calling out those Senate Democrats today. Also, we are talking pop culture and Hollywood, the secret PR campaigns that subtly but surely change our perspective on certain stars like Timothée Chalamet. We've got that and Bree's thoughts on the Oscars on today's episode of Relatable. Hey guys, welcome to Relatable. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone is having a wonderful week so far. You guys were loving yesterday's episode last time I checked. I loved reading the comments. If you haven't listened to or watched my very fun and full conversation with Alex Clark, make sure you do that. A lot of you were saying that you wish it had been a lot longer. Me too. We were kind of limited on time, but we really could have just chatted forever. She is super fun, and some of you out there hadn't listened to her before. For example, my husband, Chief Relatable, was like, she is super entertaining. That was a really fun conversation. So it's really for everyone, even though we talked about some girly things. It's a fun one. So go back, listen to, or watch that. All right, we've got some announcements, some housekeeping things before we get into everything that we have to cover in today's episode, and it is a lot, but I'm going to try my darndest to get through it all. First of all, I haven't talked to you guys since the Share the Arrows tickets went live on Friday morning, and wow, you guys so far exceeded our expectations. It was absolutely amazing. We allowed ticket access to Blaze TV subscribers first, opened it up to everyone, and those early bird tickets, which were limited to 2,000 tickets, went like that. My goodness, I am so thankful to the Lord. This really feels much bigger than me. I don't feel like the central force pushing Share the Arrows. It feels to me like it is a movement that is driven, yes, by the Lord and also just by y'all's enthusiasm and desire for clear teaching. And you guys know that at Share the Arrows, just like we did last year, we are going to have solid biblical teaching. And for those of you who might assume, this would probably be a safe assumption that this is kind of like a political conference. It's really not. Even though I talk a lot about politics, politics matter because policy matters because people matter. It would be fine if this were that kind of conference, but it's really not. Last year, the Arrows, even though it was right before the election, we didn't focus on politics at all. We didn't talk about the election. We didn't specifically talk about candidates. Maybe some people feel that we should have. We wanted to talk about what was upstream from that and what was underneath all of that theologically, what is underneath a lot of the cultural and political moral deception of our day. And so we got right into scripture, basic theology, but hard-hitting theology, tough things that we don't typically hear from the pulpit about sexuality and gender and reproduction and apologetics. The apologetics course that we got from Elisa Childers last year, just absolutely incredible. Worship on fire. And as far as I know, there is nothing like this for conservative Christian women. And I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful for how excited you guys are about it. If you haven't gotten your tickets to Share the Arrows, you can still do that. Just go to sharethearrows.com, October 11th, Dallas, Texas. We will be doing our speaker drop really soon, and you guys are going to be so excited. I'm so excited. Grab your friends, grab your small group, grab your mom, your sister, your daughter, sharethearrows.com. Go ahead and get your tickets today. All right, just one more really small request for those of you who have not already done this. Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Also, if you don't subscribe on YouTube, please do that. It just helps the show out a lot. It helps us in the algorithms. You know, things are somewhat better when it comes to speech and big tech, but not really. And you never really know who is pulling the strings behind the scenes, and you never know what's going to happen. And so every bit like that really helps. It preserves the show. It makes sure that it reaches as many people as possible. So please leave a 5-star review wherever you can. That would mean a lot to us. Let's see, a couple other things. Which order do I want to go in? Tariffs A lot of people are asking me about that. Have I covered tariffs? We will be talking about it more. We might even talk about it tomorrow. But my dad and he will be back on the show soon. He's recovering from surgery and he's doing well. But the last time he was on the show about a month ago, show 1135, we talked about tariffs, what tariff policy actually accomplishes, what it has already accomplished when it comes to Donald Trump and what he has enforced. So we will continue to talk about that. If you want kind of like a basics crash course on tariffs, go listen to 1135 with my dad. We will be talking about Ukraine tomorrow, everything that happened in the Oval Office last week. We weren't able to discuss it, but I will be having Josh Hammer on. He is a journalist. Actually, my episode that I did with him coming up on 3 years. I think it was 3 years ago that Josh and I did our episode on Ukraine and Russia. That is one of my most listened to episodes ever. He is incredible at breaking down complex geopolitical issues in very simple terms. And so you can look forward to that. He'll tell us everything we need to know. Tonight, Trump is going to address Congress. So yesterday in a Truth Social post, he posted in all caps, "Tomorrow night will be big. I will tell it like it is." So that is happening tonight. He will address a joint session of Congress at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is not a State of the Union address. It will likely follow kind of the same customs as a formal State of the Union, basically just to say, look, like, here's what we have accomplished. Here's what we are going to be even more aggressive on. And by the way, here's what we need you to do, congressional Republicans. He's probably going to have some harsh words for Democrats, which I think is necessary. Blaze TV is going to be hosting live coverage tonight, starting at 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time. Your girl, that's me. I will be there also providing coverage before and after the speech. So make sure you tune in. You can tune in on YouTube. You can tune in if you're a subscriber to blazetv.com. So I will be there talking about what I think about his accomplishments, what's getting in the way of further accomplishments, what I hope that he does, things that I disagree with so far with the Trump administration. So it should be a very good time. All right, a couple more things before we start into it. I want to correct the record on something that was said yesterday on yesterday's episode. This is important. So Alex mentioned that the person who is leading the Department of Agriculture under Trump is a seed oil lobbyist, and Brooke Rollins is the one that is heading the USDA, and she is not a seed oil lobbyist. And I said yesterday, I'm gonna have to check on that. I'm not sure if that's true because I hadn't heard that. Really what was meant to be said, I believe, I checked this, this is according to the Federalist, that the chief of staff in the new USDA is a former seed oil lobbyist, and her name is Kaylee Buller. So she will work under Brooke Rollins. So she previously worked for the National Oilseed Processors Association and the Edible Oil Producers Association. These are massive organizations lobbying for seed oil production. If you don't know the dangers of seed oils, we have talked about them in the past. They're really bad for you. They can cause cancer, all kinds of inflammation in the body. This doesn't mean that this person is still advocating on behalf of these groups. By the way, this is a former association and this is not the head of the USDA, but just something to pay attention to. And I just wanted to make sure that we corrected the record on that. All right, since this is my first episode that I am actually recording this week, I wanted to just end the introduction with some biblical encouragement before we get into stories. And that's just kind of a random thought that I had yesterday. I was in the dentist's office and I was reading through a gardening magazine, and this idea or this kind of line came to my head. And I don't think this has been said before verbatim. Certainly this concept is not new at all, but I apologize if this is actually someone's quote out there and I'm just taking it. It's not intentional. But as I was reading this magazine and I'm just thinking about so many things that Chief Related Bro and I have coming up, decisions that have to be made, pulled in 1,000 different directions. I am a very busy person in my mind and have a million different ideas for things that I want us to do and build together and put out there. And sometimes it's really hard to have the discernment to know where we should invest our time and money and energy and all of that. And I thought about this phrase that really you should only be, as a believer, planting seeds that bloom in eternity. Plant seeds that bloom in eternity. There are some endeavors and hopes and dreams that I have that simply will not have the eternal impact, will not have the impact that really matters. It might be a good idea, it might be a profitable company, but it is not really serving to advance the kingdom. Now, here's the catch. Here's what I'll say in that is that technically everything a believer does, in faith with excellence and for the glory of God can be a seed that is planted here that blossoms in eternity. If you have not read Every Good Endeavor by Tim Keller, you need to do that because he talks about this, that whether you're a janitor, whether you are a full-time stay-at-home mom, whether you're an artist, whether you're an accountant, politician, everything you do can advance the kingdom. Everything you do as a believer can blossom in eternity when you do it in faith with excellence and for the glory of God. But for me, when I'm thinking about the products that I am creating, the actual content or thing that I am putting out into the world, is this something that will blossom in eternity? Is this something that could lead someone closer to the truth, closer to the Lord by the grace of God? And really, it's not just the big things that we can use that as a filter by which we're making our decisions. It's really more the day-to-day things. And this is where I so often fail. And the minute by minute, small, seemingly menial decisions that we make to either invest in eternity or just kind of waste our time. When I think about the time that I waste scrolling or worrying or doing things that simply don't have a good return on my investment, I really want to get better at thinking about the seeds that I'm planting moment by moment. My dad taught me a really good lesson when it comes to money. He said, when it comes to finances, there is a difference between an expense and an investment. An expense is just money that you're spending, but an investment is money that you're investing with the expectation of a return. Sometimes you spend money that is just spent. Sometimes you spend money that's an investment, and how you think about those two things is different. But that is also true of our time. That's also true of our talent. That's also true of our creativity. All of these things are finite because we are finite people, and the time that we have here is finite. So is where you are investing your time, your talent, your energy, is that an investment that you will see a return from, especially in eternity, or is that just time wasted that is never going to be redeemed? Now, all of us are guilty of wasting time. I'm guilty of wasting time. But when I think about how I want to spend my day, the number one thing that I know for sure every single time will blossom in eternity is the time that I invest in my children. Like that, for sure. So just know that every diaper changed, every lunch made, every rock, every moment that you spend either directly discipling your children in the Lord or simply sustaining them physically, that is a seed that is planted that will blossom in eternity. And no matter what stage of life that you're in, no matter what you are doing, everything that is done in faith with excellence and for the glory of God is a seed planted that will blossom in eternity. And think about that in every product that you put out, in every single second that you spent. I know that was kind of stream of consciousness. That was a little bit rambly. I'm still kind of organizing my thoughts around that phrase myself, but it's actually helped shift my perspective, even just in the last 24 hours as I'm thinking about the alignment of our priorities and all that, my husband and I are trying to do together as a family and also professionally. That helps, I think, to limit the things that we actually pursue, which might mean that I'm going to have to put off playing the banjo for a little bit because I really want to learn how to play the banjo, guys. And right now, at this time in my life, I don't think that this is a seed that's going to blossom in eternity. Now, maybe, you never know, maybe I'll get really good at it. If you watch the conversation between Chief Relatable and me, I talked about wanting to play the banjo. That's what I'm talking about, that I want to do like a million things. And I need like 5 different lifetimes to do it. Also want to open up like a boutique fitness one day. No, it's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's just not, my husband has to remind me of those things, and he's really good at leading us in that direction. But this is a phrase I'm going to try to plaster in my mind to remember to do only that which is really, truly, eternally important. All right. Okay. We're through it all. Now let me get to our first ad, okay? And then I promise we'll get to some stories for the day. We've got fun things to talk about. First sponsor for the day is We Heart Nutrition. I love We Heart Nutrition. I've been using them for a year. I just got some medical tests done to see like how is my body doing, and came back really good, like better than expected. There were a couple things that the doctor had to explain to me that were on my scan. I'll talk more about my Prenuvo scan sometime soon. My husband got it too. But I was very pleased, especially having 3 kids. I'm in my 30s at the clean bill of health that I received back. And I've got to attribute that at least partly to We Heart Nutrition. This is the first supplement that I've taken that I can tell like a real tangible difference in my energy, in my immune health. My blood work comes back. My iron levels are good for the first time in years. That's because at We Heart Nutrition, they use the most bioavailable ingredients possible. So your body is actually soaking up these nutrients. You don't want to be taking all these pills that don't actually work for your body, that your body is not actually using. So I'm just so thankful. Chief Relatable just started taking their supplements a month or so ago. So they've got stuff for men. Go to weheartnutrition.com, take their 20-second quiz. They'll tell you which regimen is right for you. Plus, when you use my code Allie, you get 20% off your order. weheartnutrition.com, code Allie. Okay, so we'll probably talk about this some more in the coming days, but I just wanted to call out the senators, the Democratic senators that voted against the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. So yesterday, the Senate voted to allow the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act to proceed to the floor in a cloture vote. The vote was rejected among party lines. 51. So they voted to allow. So that means they were voting whether or not they were going to allow this to proceed. The vote was rejected along party lines, 51 yeas, 45 nays, with all Senate Republicans voting to allow the bill to continue and 45 Democrats saying, no, we will not allow the bill to continue. So a cloture vote, just for some context, because you're probably thinking, well, Republicans are in the majority in the Senate. How is it possible that they can't push this through? So a cloture vote is a procedure used to end a filibuster, a tactic where debate is prolonged to delay or block a vote on the bill. If cloture fails, the debate on the bill continues indefinitely. Senate cloture votes require a supermajority in order to pass. So 60 out of 100 votes. And so Republicans needed some Democrats to come over to their side in order to allow this bill to move forward. The Senate's rejection of the cloture blocks the bill from progressing to the floor, effectively stalling the bill unless further action is taken. Democrats do this a lot. They've done this, for example, when it comes to bills that would pass infants who survive or bills that would protect, rather, infants that survive abortion. So the Born Alive Infant Survivors Protection Act, Democrats have also blocked that. And just as a reminder, that is just a bill that would seek to protect babies who are born alive after an abortion, that they have a legal right to the medical care that would save their lives, and doctors can be liable to, legal accountability if they don't save the lives of those babies. They don't have those protections right now. Doctors are not held legally accountable for that. And so Democrats really show their hand when it's not just about a woman's body. It's not just about bodily autonomy. It's literally about infanticide. And the fact that we still have Christians and people who profess to be conservatives being like, well, Republicans are crazy. Hush, hush. Look, we've got Democrats who literally cannot say that women should have their own spaces. We have Democrats who refuse to protect the most vulnerable girls and women. Just remember this. When Democrats say women's rights, when Democrats say that they are voting for or they are supporting the cause and the side that helps and protects women, they are talking about one thing and one thing only, and that is killing babies. When they say they care about women, when they say vote for women, they're only talking about abortion. They're only talking about killing baby girls inside the womb. They don't actually care about the rights and the protection and the safety and the opportunity of girls and women that are currently being taken by boys who are pretending to be girls. Okay? There's no such thing as a trans girl. There's no such thing as a transgender athlete. We keep saying, oh, let trans kids play, let transgender athletes play. There's no such thing, okay? Because there's no such thing as transgender. There are boys, there are girls, there are men, there are women, there is male, there is female, and then there are these men who pretend to be girls. And there are girls and women who might pretend to be men, but it's all pretending. And they are mutilating their bodies with very dangerous hormone regimens, with very dangerous procedures to try to force their delusions on the world. But it's not real. You can't actually transition from one gender to the next or one sex to the next. It's not possible. So what we are literally talking about here is boys, and the worst kind of boy that you would want to allow into a girl's bathroom, boys competing against girls and going into their private spaces. I mean, we have told the story over and over again of the girls who have been injured, the girls who have been violated, the girls who have been assaulted. We've talked to Riley Gaines. We've talked to Peyton McNabb. We've told these stories over and over again, and Democrats don't care. They don't give a flying rip about girls and women. They just want to be able to kill girls inside the womb. That's it. Okay? So honestly, there's a lot of complaining right now about President Trump. I'm even seeing stuff from our side. And you guys know, if you're honest out there, I can't stand it when I get people saying, oh, you never criticize President Trump. You idolize President Trump. That is just false, okay? That is objectively false. I am not at all scared to call out President Trump when I think he's wrong. We have done episodes on why I think he's wrong on IVF, how he's been squishy on abortion. I don't have any ties to the MAGA world. I have a lot of friends, obviously, who are hardcore in the MAGA world. And there's a lot of people I respect that work for his administration. I appreciate President Trump. I'm not getting paid by them. I'm not getting platformed by them. Nothing. I am giving you my honest perspective on Donald Trump. And that is that I disagree with him on some things, but that he is still doing a really good job. And honestly, it becomes very fashionable when Donald Trump is in office among Christians, especially mushy evangelicals, to criticize him, even though you voted for him, just to show that you're not one of those Trumpers, that you're not one of those conservatives, that you're clear-eyed. And so you can go to your liberal mushy friends and be like, oh, maybe you were right about that. Oh, no, I'm not one of those. Yeah, see, it was bad. I can't believe that he said that. And honestly, you're just not helping. And I get it, because I think I kind of used to be like that too. And I've changed a little bit because I was actually paying attention when Joe Biden was president. I was actually paying attention to Kamala Harris's campaign, and I know how downright insane and evil Democrat policies are. I haven't forgotten about that. I don't really care, honestly, anymore about the silly things that Trump says and does. Doesn't mean I'm not willing to disagree with him on substantive policy, but I'm not gonna wring my hands and cry when he talks sternly to Vladimir Zelensky. I'm just not. I'm not going to freak out and be embarrassed by the silly things he says on Truth Social. Doesn't mean I like it. Doesn't mean I'm always going to applaud it. But I'm not going to get whipped up by the media outrage and by the conservatives who say that I have to criticize every little thing Trump does in order to be even and honest. No, because at the end of the day, his policies are better. And I'm thankful for it. And I'm still praising the Lord that Donald Trump won. Are things perfect? No. I can't even find eggs at my local grocery store, and they're super expensive. And with the trade war going on, the economy is a little unpredictable and unstable right now. We've got a lot of questions about what's going on. But I'm not going to spend my time nitpicking Donald Trump because I am still just so freaking grateful that he is in the office, that JD Vance is in the office, and not Kamala Harris. Now, it can be both and. You can criticize President Trump where he deserves criticism and be thankful that he won. That's totally fine and totally true. But for those of you who are looking for me to nitpick every single thing he says and criticize his tone, that he might be a little bit too harsh here, a little bit too harsh there, I'm just not going to, because we literally have an entire party who doesn't believe that boys and girls actually exist as fixed categories. Like, we have a party who actually believes that it should be legal and celebratory and celebrated to rip babies apart in the womb. We actually have a party like that. We have a party who just voted to block a bill that would simply protect the private, intimate spaces of girls and women and their ability to compete fairly. Okay? So, yes, it can be both and. I know that. But at the end of the day, I see things clearly, and I really do trust that this administration is going to do a good job overall. And I think that we are in an infinitely better position than we would be if Kamala Harris were in office. I mean, I don't even think that we can wrap our minds around everything that she would have demolished thus far. It's not only America that this craziness is happening. This is what's going on in Australia. This is apparently, I have been reliably informed, this is supposed to be an ad to make me pro-trans. And I'm a little confused about this because look at this bloke that these girls are supposed to be okay competing against. Here's Sot 10. I mean, 6'2", 250 probably, full-on man. He's invited to play soccer or football, whatever they call it, with these women. We're supposed to look at that and be like, yes, I hope my daughter is the one pummeled by that dude. Good job, sweetie. You're inclusive. I know you have a broken neck, but that's okay. You did it for empathy. Is that how I'm supposed to feel as a mom of daughters watching that? No, my thought is, honey, we're going home. You're getting off the field, and I'm going to raise a respectful ruckus about this because women should not be forced to be pummeled by men. It's very basic. That was from a campaign. The Victoria state government released that in June of 2024. It's just now circulating on X, and it just shows the absurdity of what we're talking about. Like, we have a party that says 2 + 2 = 5. We have a party that says 2 + 2 = 4, and yet gets some other, I would say, secondary and tertiary things wrong because everyone's imperfect. Or it's not even that, because I think some of the things that the Republican Party gets wrong are like actually really big in primary, but everything isn't falling into place perfectly. But I'm still going to be thankful for and glad for the party that can at least see reality when it comes to this very important basic thing. All right, let's get into some more fun stuff in just a second. Let me pause and tell you about our second sponsor first, and that is Good Ranchers. We love Good Ranchers. We eat it almost every single day. Chicken, bacon, the ground beef, the steak, the shrimp, all the seafood. It adds variety to our life and also makes sure that we are getting the protein that we need. The best part is we know that all of this meat comes from American farms and ranches. Good Ranchers is set on supporting this industry. That's just not true of most meat manufacturers. When you go to the store, you see some beef that says made in the USA. That just means packaged in the USA. We don't actually know where the cow is from. And that's a really big problem when you're looking for high quality meat. And plus, if you're America First, you don't have to just vote for that every 4 years. You can vote with that. You can vote for that with your dollar every day. That's what I feel like I'm doing by getting all of my meat from Good Ranchers. This is a Christian family-owned company, and they always are offering really good deals. Right now, they're running their Spring into Action promotion, so you and your family can support the local ranchers easily. Get it right to your front door. If you subscribe to any of their boxes, preferably my custom box, the Allie Beth Stuckey box and get free bacon, ground beef, seed oil-free chicken nuggets, or salmon in every order for a year. Plus, you get $25 off your order when you use my code Allie. Go to goodranchers.com, code Allie. Okay, I want to talk about Timothée Chalamet. Is that how you Chalamet? Is that how you say it? Okay. Chalamet. Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing this, actually. I think my whole life, my entire life that I've known who he is, maybe 2 years, I've said Chalamet. It's Chalamet.
What? Really?
Yes. You're telling me this for the first time.
For the first time.
Okay, so he's an actor, right? And I first knew him as playing the gay person in Call Me By My Name.
Yes.
And I just assumed he was a homosexual this whole time.
Fair.
I'm sorry, but he looks like that. And so I assumed that he was. So when I heard like a year ago maybe that he was dating Kylie Jenner, I was like, what? I did not know that Timothée Chalamet swung that way. Okay, interesting. And okay, so I have a whole theory about this. I have a whole theory about his evolution from, I don't even want to say the word that's typically used to describe him, but is like a feminine looking like gay person that could only play those roles to this like very masculine, salt of the earth heartthrob. I think this is all very intentional. And what made me think about this was watching his SAG speech from last week. I think it was last week. So he is the youngest person to win Best Actor at the SAG Awards for his lead role as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. I have not seen that movie. Have you seen this movie, Brie? I saw you hate on it.
I just hate biopics.
Okay. I saw that the little tweet that you posted was very esoteric. It was like one-dimensional or something. I don't know. Or you said biopics are cringe or something.
I retweeted something that was, it was someone who was saying that he shouldn't have been nominated for the Bob Dylan movie. He should have been nominated for Dune because that performance was just a lot more dynamic. And I haven't seen the Bob Dylan film, but I don't like movies about people's real life. Okay. So I immediately agreed.
Interesting. I don't know if I do either. I can't think of one that I watched that is
They're all just a little
The Blind Side
to me.
That's the first one that came to mind.
I guess that
Isn't
maybe
The Devil
counts.
Wears Prada kind of true? It's a great movie. Okay, so but this was a true biopic. He won this award, youngest person ever. He's 29 years old, and I just really loved his speech, and it made me start thinking, why is he everywhere right now, and why does everyone love him? But here's his really good speech. That one.
I know the classiest thing would be to downplay the effort that went into this role and how much this means to me, but the truth is this was 5.5 years of my life. I poured everything I had into playing this incomparable artist, Mr. Bob Dylan. And I know we're in a subjective business, but the truth is I'm really in pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually talk like that, but I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats. I'm inspired by the greats here tonight. I'm as inspired by Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, and Viola Davis as I am by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps, and I want to be up there. So I'm deeply grateful to that. This doesn't signify that, but it's a little more fuel, it's a little more ammo to keep going.
Okay. The reason that I love this is because, so I remember I did an episode a few years ago, and certainly I'm not the only person to say this, but about the demonization of excellence. I think I was talking about Tom Brady at the time, but that people really don't like excellence, and they don't like people who just outright say, yeah, I want to be good at that. And I think I am talented at that. I think God has given me that ability. Not that he mentioned God there, but I'm just kind of giving an example. And I'm going to be good at it for the sake of being really good at it. And certainly over the past several years, there has been raised this pretense, this facade in Hollywood. It's not that the narcissism has gone away. It's that they're using their political activism as a vehicle for their narcissism, or maybe you could say as a facade to cover up their narcissism, but I actually think that vehicle is probably the better word. It is almost kind of like a humble brag, a way to say this is not about me while simultaneously showing how virtuous they are. And all of them really feel this way. All of them want to be the best. All of them want the awards. All of them want to be, all of them want to make history with the roles that they star in. And I just appreciated how he said, look, I'm working hard because I want to be the best and I want to be among the best. I'm not saying that this is the best worldview to have. I'm not saying that this is a biblical perspective. Obviously, the biblical perspective is that we make less of ourselves and more of Christ. I just appreciate how honest it is. And I do think that there is something godly and good about being the best that you possibly can and stewarding the talents that you have to the very best of your ability. And so I really liked this speech. As soon as I saw it, I liked it. So what has changed about Timothée Chalamet? I can't say it. I'm having a really hard time switching the M and the L. What has changed about him over the years? So he began acting at a young age through minor roles, off-Broadway shows. I think his mom is also in the Hollywood world. He graduated from high school in 2013. Wow, he's really not that much younger than me. He had a minor role in Interstellar, but his breakthrough came in 2017 when he starred in Call Me By Your Name. He plays a 17-year-old boy who falls in love with his father's 24-year-old male intern. Gross. So just like so many issues with that. But he was a part of a lot of different movies after that. He starred in Dune and Dune Part 2. He was also in Wonka. Haven't seen any of those. I've seen 0 movies with Timothée in them. He also has been known for his red carpet fashion apparently over the years. Oh, I'm sure we have probably have rated some of these. He's wearing this red halter top. Okay, no, this all matters. Okay, this all matters. Let me go back to 2019. Okay, we got this 2019 Golden Globe look where he's got this weird harness on. Okay, we should have a full screen of that. It should be full screen 3. Okay, so we've got this little harness on there. He's very clean shaven. Again, I'll just say he looks like he would star in a movie called Call Me By Your Name. And then it definitely looks like this in 2022. So this is the Venice Film Festival. You should never see a man's back like this outside of the beach and the pool. Same thing with flip-flops. You should never see a man's toes, a man's calves, a man's back, unless you are like swimming, unless you're close to a large body of water, okay? And so he's wearing a halter top and like these silk pants. Still 2022 Oscars blazer. He looks like Nancy from Stranger Things. It's uncanny. They look really similar. The sister from Stranger Things. Okay, so he's wearing this blazer without a shirt right now. And okay, so this is him just a couple years ago. And he is no longer this anymore. He is seen as this almost masculine heartthrob. If you see the posts about him on X, people are fangirling over him, and now they kind of like they see him as almost a like Brad Pitt type figure. How in the world did that happen? So here's my theory. My theory is that he has a really good publicist and a team of publicists that are trying very hard to recover his image from his more feminine days, from Call Me By My Name and some of his red carpet appearances. And they are trying to masculinize him so that he will continue to be up for these more masculine roles. I think it is very hard to recover your image after you have played like the younger gay man in a movie, to then be seen and heralded as some kind of on-screen hero and heartthrob. And so I think that so much of what has happened to him over the past year or so that seems like just, natural occurrences are actually a part of an orchestrated PR campaign. And that includes his dating of Kylie Jenner. Bree, do we have more? Okay, yes, we have more on Kylie Jenner. They started dating in 2023, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so their appearances together, if we have the full screen, I think it's full screen 8 of Timothy and Kylie, it caused a lot of chatter. One, that Timothy even like would have a girlfriend, and 2, that it would be a hottie like Kylie Jenner. I think that this has to be a strategic dating pick to make him seem more masculine. You just like big broed Travis Scott as Timothée Chalamet, who Kylie Jenner has 2 children with. I think that that is not just that they just met each other and fell in love, Brie. I think that it was a purposeful PR choice. What is your thought on that?
Oh, well, yeah, with her specifically. So he was rumored to have dated Lily Rose Depp too, who's like a model, but
didn't work. It didn't work. Didn't have the same effect.
Didn't have the same effect, clearly. And yeah, there's something to be said for the kind of people that she was dating before. They were very, like, I would say masculine, typically, kinds of people. And he is like total opposite from what I would say her type is.
Yeah.
Based on who she's been with before. So, yeah, I don't know that it's super genuine, to be honest.
It might be. And
it might be.
You know what? I kind of like it. I like it for them. I like them as a couple. I don't really pay attention to them, but I think that they look good together.
Do you think
I think
he's
it's sweet.
Good stepfather material?
I don't like thinking about that. I don't know, because that makes me sad. Of course, no. The ideal is that she would marry the father of her children, that she would have been married to the father of her children before she had children. That is the best case scenario. Completely independent from that, like not from that kind of perspective. They seem to actually love each other. I also think the PDA that they show each other is also part of the PR campaign to make him seem more masculine.
Yes, we don't have this now, but we can put it up. There's a picture of him like turning around when he loses the Oscar. The Oscars were on Sunday. We haven't gotten to that yet. But when he loses for Best Actor, he like turns around, she's behind him, and gives her like a little kiss. And that wasn't even like it wasn't aired at the Oscars.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was a cute little moment that I guess someone in the audience captured. But yeah, I don't know. Was it real?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I think it's cute. And yes, it might be PR. It's working for him. Maybe it's a totally natural occurrence, but I think it's working for him. It's making him seem more masculine. And here is where he got on everyone's radar, is like, wait, are you a real person? You're like a dude. You're like a bro. You're not just call me by my name. When he was on ESPN and he started spouting what my husband says is like real football knowledge, a lot of people were very impressed. Here's Sot 3.
I'm going Jackson State, 8 wins in a row, 11 all-conference players. This should be a comfortable, easy win for them.
Breaking it down.
Yeah. These teams are 2-2 in the last 4 matchups. The Redhawks defense looks good, but I'm looking at fourth-year Bobcats quarterback Parker Navarro.
Yeah.
65% completion rate. If he can get going, he'll tilt this in favor of the Bobcats. I'm going underdog Bobcats here.
Yes.
Underdog
okay.
Bobcats. Totally agree. Scatterboot, little 3 to 5 yard runs. Needs to be efficient, set that offense going. I don't think they've won a conference championship outright ever. I'm pulling for Arizona State today.
Timmy.
He said that.
How many Arizona States we got?
Okay, so he was the only one on College Game Day to pick Ohio to beat Miami. This is in December, and Ohio won. I mean, at the point that this person tweeted this, Ohio was up 28-3. Okay, also in December, Chalamet went on Theo Von's podcast, whose audience consists primarily of young adult males, very bro podcast. Here's Sot 4.
Somebody in the hair and makeup trailer at the end of the day, they would play this podcast, which is how I discovered it. And particularly the episodes with the garbage man and sort of like the real life episodes, the lunch lady, the coroner.
Wayne, the garbage man. He's doing good.
Those were like awesome episodes,
Thanks,
and sort
man.
of like worldviews that I wouldn't get otherwise,
Yeah.
Okay, so that's obviously a strategic choice. Also, his wardrobe has shifted in his appearance. Like, again, if you think back to the silk red halter top, backless, like jumpsuit thing that he had going on to now what he seems to be wearing, like, it's obviously fashionable, and I would say fashion forward. I don't think he's afraid of wearing kind of like zany stuff, even stuff that may be considered feminine. Like on College Game Day, he was wearing that pink jacket, but it certainly is more tailored and more masculine. We've got this picture from December where he's wearing this kind of suit, very classic suit. He's also grown the mustache. He went to the University of Minneapolis. He looks like a complete frat bro, like wearing a rugby shirt. You can see some of what he's wearing in other appearances in December. Again, just looking like a bro. And all I'm saying is that all of this, including the speech, the unabashed pursuit of excellence, the dating the Kylie Jenner, the going on Theo Von's podcast, the going on College Game Day, the change in his appearance, it's all for something. I don't know what role it's for. I don't know what exactly it is, or if it's just like, hey, we need to change things. I just think it's interesting. Is this that significant? Is it going to have that much of an impact on our lives? No, it shall not. It shall may not. However, I don't know. Chief Related Bro and I were kind of spinning this conspiracy and thought earlier, and I just think it's very interesting when you think about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. When you think about all of these people, almost nothing happens to them by chance. The thoughts that you are thinking about the people in the public eye are probably not by chance. The public opinion that forms is probably not by chance. There is a very powerful unseen network of publicists that exists behind the scenes to subtly and very significantly change the public's opinion. And they work best when you do not notice it. And I don't know. I just think I used to be in PR for a very short period of time, and I just think it's very interesting. So I would be on the lookout for what is on the horizon for Mr. Timothée Chalamet. All right. I want to get Bree's thoughts on the Oscars. If you don't care about any of that, then you can turn off this episode, but I think it's interesting and fun to talk about. And so we'll get into that in just a second. Let me tell you about our next ad for the day, and that is masa chips. I love masa chips. They are free of those seed oils that we talked about at the beginning of the show that are so bad for you, that can inflame your insides, cause cancer, all of that terrible stuff. These chips don't have any of that. They just have organic corn. They have grass-fed and finished beef tallow, which is really good for your skin, contains all kinds of vitamins that are good for you. Redmond sea salt. They come in all different kinds of flavors. I love the classic flavor because I love to dip them in homemade guacamole or salsa. It can be a really healthy snack, but your typical tortilla chips that you're getting from the restaurant, they are fried in canola oil, terrible for you, but these are actually really good. And this is another small business, America-loving company that is great to support. They're crunchier, tastier, and sturdier. This is true. They're way sturdier than the little flimsy chips that you typically get. Like, you know what healthy brand I'm talking about that you get in the grocery store. They're really flimsy. They break as soon as you put a little tomato on there. That doesn't happen with masa chips. They really are sturdy and taste so good. Go to Masa Chips, M-A-S-A, chips.com. Use my code AllieB for a discount on your order. That's masachips.com, code AllieB. Okay, Bree, I'm going to let you take it away. What do you want to start on first? What do you want to comment on? You had a lot of thoughts on the Oscars.
Yeah, I had so many thoughts.
Were you at the Oscars?
No, this time, no, I wasn't at the award show. Yeah, I know. For someone who didn't watch most of the movies, I had a lot of thoughts. I thought that this year's movies nominated for Best Picture sounded horrible. And like I said, I didn't watch a lot of them, but Anora, that won Best Picture, also Best Actress, is about like a prostitute or a stripper. I'm not sure which. And we can talk about that in a second. Conclave is about like an intersex pope or something, or cardinal or something.
Yeah.
Emilia Perez is, about, we've talked about this, but a Mexican cartel leader who goes trans.
Yeah.
And it's a musical.
I feel like the song is stuck in my head.
Oh,
a sex change operation.
It's always stuck in my head. I've watched it so many times.
Sad.
It's hilarious. So just not a very good group of films, I thought, to begin with.
Yeah.
Ariana and Cynthia. Mm-hmm. So Wicked was nominated. I happen to love Wicked.
Yeah,
They
I never
opened,
saw it.
Oh, you should see it.
I
It's
know. I should. Because
delightful.
I've seen it on Broadway, and I love the soundtrack, and I love Idina Menzel. And I was very skeptical about this, but so many people, including Ben Shapiro, have said that it's good.
Yes. Ben Shapiro loves Cynthia Erivo in this.
I know. Now, that is just such an interesting mashup.
And I agree with him. She's amazing in this. I wanted her to win Best Actress. That's how good I thought she
Honestly,
was.
her voice might. Do you think it's better than Idina Menzel's?
I might say yes.
I don't know. It's different. It's obviously different.
Yeah, it is different.
And like, I don't know if she could play. I mean, maybe she could, but could she play Elsa? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, just because I don't know, but her voice is just so powerful.
It's amazing.
Okay, let's play some of this. Top 5.
Just you and I defying gravity. With you and I defying gravity. They'll never bring us down.
Oh, I was hoping that we had the part where it was just her. And if you care to find me. I sound just like her.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay, I think that Ariana Grande's voice is amazing, but when you hear them together, don't you just think that Cynthia is so much richer?
Yeah, there's not really a comparison. I think she has one of the best voices
Ever.
But I thought they both looked amazing.
Yeah.
And there's been so much chatter throughout their whole Wicked tour about how bad they look, and even the clothes, like that they're just not choosing things that are very flattering for them. And I thought these looked so good on them.
Well, they both have a choice, and they are making choices.
I know.
With what they wear on their heads and faces.
Yep.
That is not anything that you can't blame their mama. That's not how they were born. They are making choices with their hair and
Sometimes you
face.
can blame their stylists. But yeah.
I guess, but they are people with agency.
Yes, they still put it on. I know.
But the dresses, I agree, were beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as you said, Zoe Saldaña won her role in Emilia Perez, the Mexican cartel leader who transes himself. So weird. Then we've got the pro-Palestine documentary No Other Land. Won Best Documentary. See, that's funny because when I hear No Other Land, I immediately think of the Jews. Like, I immediately think, like, that's their only Jewish state.
Yeah.
They have no other land. They have no other Jewish state that is their homeland, whereas the Muslim world has many other countries that they could flee to, and yet No Other Land is about Palestine. And people were really mad that Gal Gadot, is that how you say her last name? She's an Israeli. She served in the IDF, I think. Beautiful actress. She's played a lot of different roles like Wonder Woman. People were very upset that she presented the award for, not for this, but for anything, right?
Yeah, there was a rumor that she was going to present Best Documentary. And whoever had made that decision probably knew that this Palestine movie was going to win and that it was going to be like kind
That's
of an
so
awkward
cruel.
moment. And she probably, if that was ever the plan, she probably was like, no, I'm not doing that. So
No.
yeah, there was lots of hatred on X though over her just existing at the Oscars.
Existing.
So, yep.
Insane. Okay, the sex worker movie. Let's play this speech. Thought 6.
I also just want to again recognize and honor the sex worker community. I will continue to support and be an ally. All of the incredible people, the women that I've had the privilege of meeting from that community has been one of the highlights of this entire incredible experience.
Sex worker community. That is a joke. That's a joke. We are talking about prostitutes who very often have been trafficked into their position. And just because someone says yes to being objectified does not make objectification okay. And even if someone is technically consenting in the moment, does not mean that they actually had consent when they were pulled into that industry. And by the way, if you are saying yes for fear of being abused, for fear of being destitute, then that is not true consent. So I don't believe in, purely consent-based morality anyway, because there is a higher morality that is set by the God who created us. And whether you say yes or no to something, that might be part of the piece of the puzzle that makes something right or wrong, but it's not everything that makes something right or wrong. There's an objective universal morality that exists. Prostitution is not moral in any way. It's not moral for the people who are using the prostitutes. It's not moral for the people who are selling their bodies. It's not moral for the people who are pimping out these women. There is nothing good about it. It is only destructive. It is only objectifying. As people who understand that we are all made in the image of God, prostitution, like abortion, like gender transition, that denigrates the body, it should absolutely break our hearts. And it just goes to show again that the Christian worldview, even though it is seen as this kind of like, it is seen as this anti-physical, uber spiritual religion. It's not. We care about the body so much because it's made in God's image and we are a dwelling place of the Holy Spirit. And the world is the one that continually denigrates and degrades the body, doesn't understand that the body exists for a purpose. The body is sacred and the body is meant to be protected. So this dualistic Gnostic mentality is just really, really deadly and really gross and sinful. And by the way, I just saw this video going around of Andrew Tate from several years ago, where he is literally beating this woman named Vivian, beating her with a belt, is making her repeat these horrible mantras, basically saying that he owns her and is forcing her into this position, that he beats her when she doesn't do what he says. What is being reported is that this woman had been a minor when she first started working for Tate. And I just want to say, that's the sex work. That's the sex work. Andrew Tate is the sex work that Hollywood is promoting. So these liberals simultaneously say, oh, Andrew Tate is so bad. Oh, Stormy Daniels, Donald Trump. That's sex work, baby. That's the sex work community that you are praising, that you are promoting. So just because right-wingers, so-called, if you can even call Andrew Tate that, promote that, doesn't mean that you can then condemn it and act like you're a Puritan all of a sudden. That's sex work. It's oppression. It's objectification. It's gross. Now, let's talk about, if we have time, we'll rate some of these outfits. But I do want to talk about Kieran Culkin's baby speech, which was really sweet. Maybe the only positive part, one of the only positive parts of the Oscars. Let me tell you about our last sponsor, and then we'll do that. And that is NetSuite by Oracle. And this is for you if you are a business owner. So trying to make sure that you are meeting all of your KPIs, making sure that all of your systems are working as they should most efficiently. That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of energy. That's not why you started your company. So you need to automate that. And that is why so many business owners trust NetSuite. It's a cloud-based business management software that helps organizations run more efficiently. It includes a suite of applications for accounting, inventory management, order processing, and more. This is one unified management suite. So there's one source of truth. It's all right there if they put it in one easy place and make it really simple. Right now, if you go to netsuite.com/Allie, you can download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning. AI is here. People are using it. If you're not understanding AI, you are behind. NetSuite wants to make sure that you are not behind, that you understand what's going on. So download their free guide to AI and machine learning at netsuite.com/Allie. That's netsuite.com/Allie. Okay, let's play SOT 8.
About a year ago, I was on a stage like this, and I very stupidly publicly said that I want a third kid from her because she said if I won the award, she would give me the kid. It turns out she said that because she didn't think I was going to win. Oh, God, I did say that. I guess I owe you a third kid. And I turned to her, and I said, really, I want 4. And she turned to me, I swear to God this happened, it was just over a year ago. She said, I will give you 4 when you win an Oscar. I love you. I'm really sorry I did this again. And let's get cracking on those kids. What do you say?
Okay, so I just thought that was really sweet that he unapologetically is saying he wants 4 kids. He's enthusiastic about it. He obviously loves his wife. And you just don't see a lot of people in Hollywood saying yes, more kids, especially if it's more than 2. I mean, really anywhere you go, even in the South, if you say, like, even when I am traveling, when we're traveling with all 3 of our kids, the looks that we get, it's not always mean looks. It's just like, oh my goodness, you've got your hands full. I'm not offended by that at all because we do have our hands full. When your kids are young and you got 3 kids, it looks like a lot of kids. But having more than 3 kids is seen as like crazy. I remember my first doctor when I had an unwanted C-section with my first, and I said, I really don't want a bunch of C-sections because, I don't want that to limit how many kids that we have. And he said, well, I really don't recommend having more than 3 C-sections, but who has more than 3 kids nowadays? I was like, right after I had my first, I thought that was such a weird thing to say coming from an OBGYN, but that is like the prevailing attitude of a lot of people, that 3 maximum number of kids that a sane person should have. Beyond that, it's crazy. So for him to say on stage, yeah, I want 4 kids, I just think it's sweet. I didn't love her reaction. I mean, she was probably joking. She like jokingly put a gun to her head, which is like terrible thing. But I'm sure she was just performing and just thought it was, thought it was funny or whatever. But I do hope that they have 4 kids. That is wonderful. I probably haven't seen him in anything since Father of the Bride. I think he was the younger brother in Father of the Bride. He was also in Home Alone. Let's see. Anything else that I might know? No, I think just Home Alone and Father of the Bride. Yeah. So good for him for winning an Oscar. And there were people online who were like, oh, he's a liberal. I can't believe right-wingers are supporting him. And it's true. He did go to a pride parade and he went to a Trump protest. But what people on the left don't understand is, and conservatives are really good at this because we have to be good at this because almost everyone who creates art is liberal. You can like and appreciate what someone said and disagree with all the rest. Right, Brie?
Right.
Because you get in trouble a lot on this show for your support of a certain someone.
Mm-hmm.
But you try to separate a lot of her art, and you don't even like every song that she puts out.
Right.
She will not be named.
She will not be named.
But you can disagree. But I feel like people on the left cannot do that. Right. If they find out that, Gal Gadot is from Israel, they can't. She can't be beautiful. She can't be a good actress.
Yep.
If they find out that Chris Pratt goes to a church that said something about biblical marriage at one point, they can't watch his movie.
Yep. I know. Maybe that's what's so confusing about some of the reactions sometimes that I get with Taylor Swift. They seem to be heightened, but it is a lot of that. It's, it's all or nothing. And I don't think that's fair for us. I think we should condemn what we need to condemn. And I think it's okay to appreciate, one thing someone said because it's true, or a piece of art that is good.
Yeah. Now, I do think that there may be a difference in saying, okay, I agreed with this one thing. Yay, what he said was true, which is basically what we did. And I'm not saying you're doing this, but like unconditionally supporting someone who just continues to hoist up really bad values. I do think it's legit for someone to say, they're free to do that. I'm not going to pay them money anymore because they're supporting like pro-abortion politicians or something. So I do think that there is a difference there, a whole discussion and debate to be had about that. But good for Kieran and his wife. And he's talked before about how much he loves being a dad and how he would do that all the time. That's all he really wants to do. He loves being with his kids. He basically feels like he wasn't even a real person before he had kids. And again, I think this is just a very rare perspective to hear from Hollywood. So good for him. All right. Do we want to go through some outfits really fast, Brie?
Yeah, let's speed run it.
Okay, let's do it. Let's rate it 1 through 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Zoe Saldaña. Okay, this is she's from Emilia Perez, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I want to hear what you think first.
I think it's the worst thing.
The worst.
I think it's the worst one I saw that night. I really
do.
Yeah.
More than Cynthia.
Yeah.
Which we will get to in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What do you hate about it?
It just is so unflattering. It's just bubbles. I feel like I don't know. I just think it's ugly. The shape is just ugly.
I don't like it either. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to really give a correct rating because she's so beautiful, and which is kind of what makes the dress so tragic.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not going to say that it's, I think actually this is a very beautiful color on her. I think this is probably in her color season. I'm going to give it a 3 because I don't know if it's the worst thing that I've ever seen. Not the best, but not the worst.
I don't think it's the worst I've ever seen. I do think it was the worst at the Oscars.
Okay.
Though.
Okay.
I
Sorry,
give it a 2.
girl. Sorry, Zoe. Okay, a 2. That's your final. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do Ellie Fanning. Nope.
Really?
Oh, no. It is not. She looks complete. I'm sorry. Ellie Fanning, beautiful person. No, I don't think that this is in her color season at all. I think it really washes her out, actually. No.
I think she
No.
Wow, that kind of surprises me. She does wear a lot of colors that do wash her out. I think you're right about that. But I love this dress. I think it's adorable.
Yeah, it's a cute dress. Now, this is just personal preference. I don't love like black and white together like that. That's kind of like Ivanka Trump's dress at the like inaugural ball. I think you really liked it and I didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just my personal preference. I'm going to go with the 3.5, 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
I say 10. I love it.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow. Okay, Ariana Grande. This is different than what she was wearing on stage.
Yep.
Okay, go, Brie.
I think it's giving lampshade.
Yeah. I can't decide. I mean, I like the top on her. I think the top is really cute. Obviously, the bottom is supposed to be funky, and I don't like that. But the top is cute, and I actually kind of like the color on her, especially if she went back to her natural hair color and eyebrow color.
Well, it kind of looks like she did. She didn't.
Yeah.
Her hair's still the weird blonde color, but
Yeah, I'm going to go 4.5. Still not doing it.
I say 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. It is definitely giving lampshade
Yeah.
for sure. Okay. Lisa. I don't have Lisa's last name in my document.
She just goes by Lisa.
Okay. Who is she? I don't know.
She's a K-pop star.
K-pop.
Now she does her solo thing. She sang at the Oscars.
No. I don't like this at all. Nope. This is worse. I think this is maybe 2.5.
Wow.
What do you think?
I think it's clearly unique. I would give it maybe a 3.
Ugh. Okay. Again, it's so not complimenting her beauty. Okay, Cynthia. Maybe if it's like with the theme of Wicked and she's supposed to kind of be like Elphaba.
I think they both were, her and Ariana.
Yes, I could see that.
Yeah.
I know it's too much. Like, I just am looking for it. Like, okay, we didn't put in some of the best dressed people, like Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez has looked like $10 million the past 2 times. And that's just my personal preference. I want something that is complimenting your beauty, that I like, that draws you to their face. And like, so you're just like,
Yeah.
gosh, you're pretty.
Yeah.
I hate stuff that is distracting and is overwhelming someone's beauty. And this, I know it's probably meant to be, but it's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Again, a choice.
Yeah.
A choice that Cynthia is making. And I don't agree with that choice. So I'm going to go with 2.
Wow.
It's really bad. Again, I think she's pretty. Not everyone. I've seen a lot of commentary online. I think she's very pretty.
Yeah.
I think she would look amazing in a red or even a green if you want to go Elphaba.
Yeah. I don't know. I think she was going for subtle Elphaba.
Subtle.
I kind of like
That's not
this.
what I think of when I see this dress.
Yeah, maybe that's the wrong word. I would give it a 6.5.
Wow, that's
think
very
it's okay.
generous. Okay. I know. I've seen this one. Show me Timothée Chalamet. Absolutely not. It's giving Peeps. It's giving banana flavor. Not even banana. A banana flavored something.
That's so true.
Yes.
That's very astute. I was going to say he just looks like a stick of butter, but.
Oh, I saw someone say that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this kind of disrupts my conspiracy that they're trying to make him more masculine, like a heartthrob. Again, not in his color palette at all. And he's a handsome guy. But I feel like he tries to, make statements. A lot of these people, I don't think a lot of these people are thinking what makes me most beautiful. They're thinking what is different.
Right.
Thoughts?
I think it's fine, honestly.
Okay.
But I mean, that's not exactly high praise. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't offended by it.
Okay, I'm a little offended by it. But I guess if we look beyond the color, the tailoring, I think, is fine. It fits him well. I don't mind a suit. It's such a low bar these days. I'm like, if a guy is not wearing a dress or a halter top, I'm like, woo!
Yeah, same.
Great. Nature is healing. Yeah, the color is just so bad. 3? I'll give him a point for tailoring.
Okay. I'm going to go 5. Right in the middle.
I feel like that's super generous because I say tailoring. I'm not completely confident that you couldn't get this off Shein. So I don't know. Like the bunching at the bottom, it looks like a little wrinkly. I don't know.
Some designer is really mad at you for saying that.
I know. I'm sure they're listening. They were wondering what we were going to say about the outfits. All right. That's all we have time for. Some of you are going to have loved that episode. I know I will get a message from someone saying, why did you talk about this? I don't know. Why did you listen? It's fun. It's fun to talk about some of these things. Sometimes we talk about so much deep and serious stuff and so much that matters. And sometimes it's just fun to talk about some lighthearted things too with a lot of serious stuff going on in the world. Tomorrow we'll be talking about Ukraine and the address from Trump. Thursday we'll be talking about more politics. And so you get a variety here on Relatable. We will see you back here tomorrow.